Cosmic Boss is making an album and podcasting about it too. It should be quirky, it will be free. Welcome to episode 3, Alternative Writing Techniques.
Welcome to the Cosmic Boss Improv Music Podcast special presentation that we're doing, the making of an album. This is episode 3.
Episode 3.
Alternative Writing Techniques.
Alternative Writing Techniques, part 3 of our
journey.
Of our journey so
Absolutely.
far.
This time we'll be talking about alternative writing techniques. So last episode was all traditional writing techniques.
Yeah.
This time round we're going for alternative writing techniques.
Yeah. We wrote a song in the first one, and we kind of done similar stuff this time.
Yeah, so it's exciting. We've got a full roster for you. My name is Andy.
And I'm Nick.
You're Nick.
I am
That's
Nick.
good.
Yeah, sorry, we hadn't introduced ourselves.
Yeah, and we are Cosmic Boss, hence the title, Cosmic Boss.
Yeah, that's the band name.
That's the band name, just the one S, economical.
Yeah,
Yep.
save the S's.
Yeah, save the S's
For
other words.
other words.
I mean,
yeah.
S is quite a popular letter, gets used a lot.
Does.
But anyway, we're here to actually talk about alternative writing techniques. So I guess we should do a kind of like look back at what alternative writing techniques have already existed.
Yeah.
Sound like a good idea?
Yeah. Well, there's loads.
There's absolutely loads. I mean, when we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, or the veggie meat and potatoes for vegans, vegan meat and potatoes for the vegans, then we'll talk about what we do, which is improvisation and editing that.
Yeah.
But to begin with, like, obviously writing music, there's been lots and lots of different techniques for writing. Like last time we discussed traditional ones, very much sitting down and coming up with the lyrics after the music and building something in that way. But like I think even like far back as like classical music, like the most radical classical musicians and writers were the ones that were going way off the charts from what everyone else was doing. It's like, oh, here's my nice lovely piece to listen to, and then suddenly there's Beethoven with something that just goes to all these places.
Here's
like,
why I'm the best.
What?
And
that's great. And like, so, and again, I think probably large chunks of that is born out of improvisation originally, and trying to follow the flow of the music where it's going. And then obviously with kind of contemporary pop music and like the 3-minute song or the 4-minute song.
Yeah, 3 minutes. I'd say.
Yeah. I think there was a big change in that happened in the 60s, the 1960s, not the 2060s, not in the future, but maybe in the 2060s there will be another big change. But back in the 1960s, when music certainly embraced the kind of free love movement of what was going on at the time,
of course,
like really affected the different ways in which they're writing. I mean, we'll go back to our main guys, the Beatles.
Of course.
Like, you know, you listen to the Beatles' career and you just sort of really, I'm sorry guys to rat you out on this, but you're sort of basically tracking which drugs they were taking to make music.
What stage they were at which time.
And in those early days, they needed lots of pep, because they were playing really long shows, so they were on lots of stimulants and lots of upping things to keep them up. And
playing 15-hour sets, weren't they, at the beginning?
It was like insane. And then after they became big enough that they could actually then just sort of retreat to the studio. I mean, actually the Beatles, because they were the Beatles, they went to India and explored
and changed. I think like they created what was like going to be amazing at that time.
Yeah, I mean, and there was lots of exploring technology as well. I think the Beatles are a good example of early use of like sampling and like looping things and creating walls of sound and weird energies. Like that was what they went from being a hard-working, everyday playing their instruments all the time
band
to a studio exploring music, and like because they cut their teeth doing all of that, they went at it in the right way, and
absolutely, and tried new things. I think
and then equally there was lots of their peers around them at the time who were also doing like that kind of a thing. Like big shout out to Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys, and like, Pet Sounds is an album that, if you're thinking about like becoming a writer, you should, or being a musician, there's certain albums that if you listen to them, they kind of blow your mind, because you can't really work out how it's been done. And Pet Sounds is one of those albums, and when you listen to that, you're like, wow, how the hell did you construct this? Like, it's insane. It's but not so like over the top or inaccessible. It's completely accessible. It's completely everything you like. It does exactly the right thing. It's got the right balance of it. And I think the way the Beach Boys wrote was they all kind of wrote parts, but in the case of Pet Sounds, Brian Wilson had written most of it and was taking it to the band and getting them to play their different parts.
Right.
Whereas the Beatles were much more. They'd do that. They'd go away and write their songs separately and kind of come back and go, okay, so this is what I've got. Like,
you learn your part. You write your part. Yeah.
It's that thing that I think they all got annoyed about Paul McCartney, didn't they? Where he was always like, "No, guys, I'm going to play the whole like first 2 minutes on my own, and then you guys can come in after 2 minutes. Is that okay? Are you alright with that?" That was my worst.
Yeah.
I mean, my Paul McCartney.
The accent was terrible.
It was terrible.
But yeah.
Sorry, Paul.
But and big up Paul, man. Paul's a legend.
Massive. Paul's awesome. And Paul totally wanted to explore a whole different range of things from that experience to say John and George. So
do you think then alternative writing techniques are more for the out there ideas? Like you and I write in lots of ways now.
Not completely.
And the two ways that we'll talk about have given us like an openness to going a bit crazier and pushing something even further. Do you know what I mean? So like, as you're saying, when the Beatles were clearly on acid, like, and writing the Magical Mystery Tour or whatever.
Yeah, or Strawberry Fields, or
any of that
Lucy
era.
in the Sky with Diamonds.
Yeah,
completely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it allows you to be a bit more experimental.
Again, using the Beatles are a good example. Like, you think of a song like Yellow Submarine, that's clearly like somebody who's not wanting to explore the creative realms in a spiritual way. It's a silly, fun song, and it's built up on the stupid samples of like John Lennon in the background. Call the captain. It's like it's bonkers.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's just some guys having fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great little song in a collection of songs that it fits perfectly in there. It's just a nuts little bonkers song surrounded by interesting explorations. And the Beatles at that point couldn't really recreate what they were doing in the studio live. They had to stop doing it live, and everyone's always like, "Oh, it's because they all, they were screaming fans all the time. There was no need." But I think there's like early performances. It's in the anthology where they play like Nowhere Man. They try and do that, recreate it live, and it just doesn't.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't land. It's like it's too layered. The record is so
absolutely
warm, deep, and layered that they can't recreate that live, and so. I think the Beatles are the birth of several of those alternative writing techniques. Yeah. I'm sure someone out there can probably correct us, and they'll be like, well, actually, the Beatles learned from Sideshow Steve over here.
Sideshow Steve, he's pretty good though.
Sideshow Steve.
Yeah, who hasn't heard of Sideshow Steve?
I mean, these guys who've made this Cosmic Boss thing, they clearly don't know their history, do they? They're just waffling nonsense.
Probably. And we apologise if that is true, but we're bigging up the Beatles, and they're a massive influence on you and I. And so like we've watched a lot of their documentaries and blah blah blah. So we've learnt a lot from them, I'd say. So and also they push boundaries, man. Like, what's great about watching them, essentially, like they're 4 musicians where they're given the freedom to do their own bit. So like, as you say, McCartney comes in with, I'm going to play the first 2 minutes of Let It Be, but then you can all come in and do your thing or whatever. And then everybody does their own thing. Ringo's just plays drums, but the other two are coming up with the awesome stuff behind it.
Yeah, that's it. A song is very, unless it is a single person doing it, it's very rarely just that one sound. Absolutely. It's all about the mixtures of it, and the Beatles are perfect examples of exploring all of that. And then certainly all of them, when they went on to their solo careers, found their own versions of that too.
Of course.
Some of it's quite impenetrable, some of it's like a bit twee and over the top, and you can see how the balancing of their energies is what made the Beatles have their sound.
Made it work, right? Made it work completely.
So another, just quickly to kind of tie that one up, like, is the story I think surrounding I Am the Walrus, which is like, it sounds a bit like gibberish, but I think it was inspired by conversations that Lennon was having with different people, and I think Bowie's name is in there somewhere, and that it's almost like folding up newspapers to make new random sentences, and like this, if you want to create anything, you can kind of do whatever you want.
Of course. There's no right or wrong, right? No. And that has also come at a time, did it not, where people were like looking into the Beatles lyrics and being like, what do they mean? It's like, you're it's
taking way too much,
poking fun at it.
I mean, Charlie Manson obviously being the ultimate example of that, being like, I heard this song by the Beatles and it told me to kill everybody in the whole world. Which Beatles song was that, Charlie? It was Helter Skelter. The one about going up and down a slide. You serious, man?
No,
jeez. Charlie.
Murder everybody. But that tune, like, is bonkers, but is an amazing tune, right?
Helter Skelter's, it's just fuzz and noise. It's them experimenting with wanting to create something that is punk before punk, like, and that's it. It's the exploration, and that if you're looking to write music or you want to write anything, it kind of comes down to that. It's all about having the time to explore the creative realms and to see how far you can go, because there's always further. There's never an end point to it. Like,
I also think, like, a big thing with it, like, the more and more I've done it, like, obviously as a duo, you've just got to push. You've got to keep pushing, because, like, and nothing is finalised ever until you're happy with it. So it's almost like, when you're pushing through lyrics, for example, like, push through it. If you're not sure about something, just get something, move on, kind of try and get a product, not like essentially a product at the end of it, but get somewhere. Like, the amount of times I've written songs and just me playing guitar and got 2 verses and a chorus, and then go, I've got nothing, exactly. And I've probably lost,
Yeah, but then the other thing with things like that is that you end up, you're like later on go, I've got this cool bit that I couldn't ever really turn into a whole song, but would work nicely for the end of this bit.
Middle eight or something. Yeah, completely.
And that's it. Alternative writing techniques. So let's move on to
let's
discussing ourselves.
How we do it. Yeah. So I mean, that's such a broad. It's such a broad subject, isn't it? Because there's lots of people doing everything in their own way. I think, certainly nowadays people are just sitting in their rooms and making songs, and playing songs like we do. This is kind of what we do in our home studio, but like we just do it from beginning to end and layer and layer and layer and get something. Right?
Yeah. So
we don't take time.
No, and because it's so easy to do now. So when we were younger, or when I was a teenager and I was writing songs all the time in my bedroom, I didn't really have the ability to record it and like, hey, just drop a beat and let me riff around. There's no way to do any of that.
What computer was round then? Was it like the SNES?
I had a SNES. I tried,
As a game
I got Mario. It's a Mario music maker, but it didn't have like a record your own song into it function.
No, we're talking tapes, aren't we? We're talking we're pressing record on tapes and stuff. Everything's got a microphone in now, whereas nothing had a microphone in.
So now, like, alternative writing techniques is kind of so easy. It's just all about that. It's a free playing field, and you can do anything. You can sample anything. You can just cut something up and loop it and do whatever you want with it.
What's your thoughts on sampling?
What's my thoughts on it?
Yeah, so certainly in modern music, there's lots of sampling of songs when you and I were teenagers, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I hear them coming back and
hearing those. I mean,
it's nostalgic, but also like. Yeah, like a part of me feels a little bit robbed, kind of thing.
Like, hey, get off that was my sample.
It wasn't my sample,
original.
Unfortunately, because if they'd done that, that'd be wicked.
Please
feel free to use Cosmic Boss's samples. That's
absolutely.
Fine.
Sample us however you like.
There's loads of it.
Yeah, and, well, I think it definitely serves a massive purpose in music. Like, it allows for a freedom of play that you don't get from it having to be live.
No, and that's it. You're right. It's totally just experimental. It's somebody taking something that clearly worked and turning their own twist in it. It's not a bad thing.
No, I mean, so a quick shout out to a band like Radiohead, where if you hear a song like Everything Is in Its Right Place, like what Johnny Greenwood does during that song is he samples Tom York's vocal. And he's like looping it back and sending little elements of it off just into random parts, and it creates this effect it's different every time. If you can watch 10 videos of them playing Everything Is in Its Right Place, and it will sound that what Johnny's doing will be different every time.
Wicked, yeah, cool.
But it always sounds like the song. It's phenomenal. And
that's trying something, right? Like,
I mean, you think, and that's it. Johnny Greenwood is the element that makes Radiohead so exciting.
Yeah.
And Tom York's a great songwriter, but Johnny Greenwood comes in and goes, "Here's a whole bunch of crazy sounds I'm going to place over this song, and it's going to make it awesome."
through the guitar as well.
Oh, he's a phenomenal. He's just, everything he touches. In the more recent years, he's been playing more keyboards and
everyone does
doing samples and stuff.
You can play guitar sometimes better on a keyboard than you can play guitar.
And a huge shout out to Johnny Greenwood, because he's moved into like soundtracks.
Cool.
He works with big shout out to one of my favourite directors, Paul Thomas Anderson.
You love shouting out people today,
love shouting out people.
Cool, man.
Johnny Greenwood, big shout out. Paul Thomas Anderson, awesome director. Like one of my favourite films of all time is Boogie Nights.
Yeah,
it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it needs to be seen.
You showed me that.
Yeah, good.
Ages ago. It's a very good film. You're right.
But then, like, he's made several pictures where Johnny Greenwood's done the music for it, and it's just epic. It just needs to be. You can listen to it on its own. You can listen to Johnny Greenwood's soundtracks. I'm just doing this bit like as an advert for Johnny Greenwood. So if you like this discussion that these guys are having right now, you can always go on to Spotify and search for Johnny Greenwood. There you will find several soundtracks that he has released with Paul Thomas Anderson and other directors that Andy can't remember their names of right now. Now back to the show. So
whoa, jinx. So let's talk about kind of how we.
Yeah. So we'll move into us. So let's play a song.
Should play a song. What song should we play?
So let's play. We're going to play a song called Rainbow Appearing.
We're going to play the improvised version.
We're going to play the original version. So So as a very quick thing, what we did to explore alternative writing techniques is go back to the very essence of music and just improvise stuff. And we did several sessions with our friend Joe Philogene. Big shout out to Philogene.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, always big shout out Joe Philogene.
Yeah, 100%. And we made 4 records with him. And on the 3rd record, which is called Summadelica, there was a track called Rainbow Appearing, and that is this song.
This song exactly like this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna press play now.
Where we go that can't be, I will sleep vigilant under the rain, laying branches of leaves. Words go that can't be, I will sleep vigilant, danger ready. Go extending. There's a rainbow out there somewhere. The clouds can hide it. The sky won't let it. Under the bright. somewhere.
I love this little end bit.
That's definitely you playing guitar, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely it's Andy.
Am I playing acoustic in that song then?
Maybe, yeah. I think I was on electric and you were on acoustic.
Oh, wow. So that was Rainbow Appearing, right? That was recorded at 2021. Last year. Yeah, 3 of us in a room, literally 2 hours.
It was the 7th song in the set of like 14 or whatever it was that went out in that record.
Yeah, and that was completely made up on the spot.
Yeah.
The lyrics were written.
Yeah.
And that was it. Everything else is, well, including the melody, is made up on the spot.
Yeah, including all those harmonies and things that we
so
were doing.
And that's nice. It's nice when that's captured.
Yeah.
Which we do well sometimes. It's nice. But yeah, man. So like that was so when we've done these improvisation sessions, so we've done 4 last year, right? You know, from that we've developed quite a few.
Well, from that actual session, the second song from that session is Space Babies, which
same record.
We really enjoyed, like from that the improv version, and we were like, let's take that and we developed that, and that's had a couple of iterations. It was the opening song on our EP.
Yeah, that kind of came from nowhere though. Actually, if I remember rightly, we were talking about releasing a single, and then you were like, "Oh, let's redo this."
Yeah,
and we redone it, and we're like, "Okay, cool. Well, we've got an EP now."
And it's a good example. So it's like the improv version's nice. It offers a lot of Space Babies, but it's like there's ways to make this a little bit more punchy, a little bit more leaning on its spacey side that's not there in the acoustic version.
Yeah, completely. Make it crisp and make it a song. I think that's the big thing, isn't it? It's turning it into 3-4 minute whatever, like song.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's kind of like just trimming off the fat from an improvisation. I think, and certainly the bones of a song. So, for example, like my guitar changes what we play. If we were to play Rainbow Appearing right now, I'd play a different thing to what I'd normally play last time and stuff like. Well, do you know what I mean? It's a song that I've improvised over a lot.
Oh, and in fact, like when we did some live things as well last year, we had to pick some songs from our improv sessions to practice and develop, and Rainbow Appearing was one. So we done live. We like practiced live with Joe, the 3 of us. We'd done a show, and we also recorded. We recorded
a live album.
In fact, it was the first episode of this season of the podcast, Cosmic Boss Live.
Yeah. Like actually live, isn't it? That's recorded actually live. That's cool.
And all of them, most of them, was songs from the improv sessions. It's only one that wasn't Take It Easier, wasn't it?
Which is a written song.
And they had their own, like, we'll play Rainbow Appearing in a minute. The live version. Yeah. Just
to hear it go through, essentially not a writing stage, but
just a tightening up.
Yeah. I guess it's that, like, it's old school using a dictaphone. Yeah. And
being
recording,
in practice.
And recording something, see if something good. And, you know, I used to do it with my phone a little bit, but like rarely did I do anything with it. Whereas like this, it's like, oh no, we've got the whole song, it's recorded.
Yeah, and I think the exciting thing, often when you're writing, people tend to write on their own, but when you're writing with other people, like the benefits of doing an improvisation session, even if you don't record it, even if you're just doing it for fun, is that you're all spending time in the same space. And when you're recording on your own, or when you're sending it to somebody to do something separately, it's a reinterpretation every time.
Absolutely.
And part of what makes music good is that spontaneity of the moment. Like, if everything's so kind of a bit like earlier when we were talking about sampling, like sometimes the thing about sampling is it does feel a bit robotic or
it always is,
or fake.
It's cut.
But then equally there's been such a massive rise in using auto tunes and things like affecting voices, so that
new ways to write, right?
You don't have to be able to sing to be a musician. You don't have to be able to play to be a musician.
Well, I remember like when auto-tune kind of was coming out, and it was lots of pop singers, and you were like, oh, how good are these singers, because auto-tune exists. And then later on, pop singers came out and overused auto-tune purposely, and auto-tune was your
became
voice,
a sound,
right?
like Cher. Do you believe? wasn't it?
Yeah, the auto-tuner was a bit better than that.
Yeah, thanks. Well, what you could do later on, if you could be bothered, is you could put auto-tune on my voice when I did the bit and see what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
You're not going to, so it's just going to be that horrible thing for those. Sorry, guys.
They've had it twice as
well. Nick's fault, just so you know.
You're blaming my laziness.
I am.
I know. I think it's good podcasting.
So anyway, in the grander scheme of what we're doing here, making of an album, like Rainbow Appearing is a song that came from an improvisation that we then tooled up a little bit for a live version, but it's a song we want to follow through. We want to take it to do another version where we go deeper into it and structure it slightly differently, probably, and
make it bigger,
like more
make it a band sound like. I think from improvisations we can't do that really. Like we play synths a little bit sometimes and bass and stuff, but we can't do all of it at the same time. So we do sound like a band, but not like a full band. Yeah, that's what we're. So everything that we'll keep taking forward will be a full band thing. It will become a bigger sound than the version you're about to hear, but the version you're about to hear was the live one, right?
So we'll play
the next stage of the song. Should we play it?
Let's play it now.
Let's play it. Okay.
Here
This is that version of that song.
Rainbow Appearing, released beginning of this year.
Go dank and deep. Animals sleep, vigilant. Under the rain-laden branches and leaves, where roots go dank and deep. Animals sleep, vigilant, danger ready. Go be steady. There's a rainbow up there somewhere. The clouds can't hide it. The sky won't let them. Vigilantly, domestic primate, running a bit late. Oh, there's a rainbow in there somewhere. There's a rainbow in there somewhere. Vigilant trees, primates snobbish domestically. There's a rainbow down there somewhere. The depths can't hide it. The world won't let them. The world won't let them. There's a rainbow down there somewhere. There's a rainbow down there somewhere. The depths can't hide it. The depths can't hide it. The soul won't let them. The soul won't let them. The soul won't let them. There's a rainbow down there somewhere. There's a rainbow down there somewhere. There's a rainbow down there somewhere.
So it finishes exactly the same as the improv version.
It does. The improv version's me singing
It's you singing it rather than me, yeah.
That's the
There
only
you go.
difference.
Let's say we were like, re-record it, but you know what would be better? If I sang the end bit.
Yeah, that's probably true.
No, I don't think that's true.
But yeah, so like you can hear the similarities in the two versions, right? Like
They're pretty
They're pretty
close to
identical.
being the same, yeah. And
just a bit of like structuring and shortening and
so like what we're going to do with that song going forward is it's going to go towards the Odor. It's going on the album, or at least it's a contender for the
Yeah.
album. So we're going to, when we get to the next stage, which is going to be demoing, Rainbow Appearing is one of the songs that we're going to
demo.
follow through.
Yeah, I think the demo will not sound too dissimilar to that version.
No, I imagine
To
it will
begin
sound
with, certainly to begin with.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we used to do it. So improvisation is
It's the
you know,
pure version
it's the
of
pure,
doing alternative writing, really.
Yeah.
And again, the way we do it now is we sometimes use lyrics and sometimes you don't. So there's good examples across all four of the improvisation records where we totally went off. We didn't use lyrics.
Yeah.
Songs like Feel the World and even songs like Apparently,
Yeah.
where we just made up a bit of something and then riffed around it.
I think the beauty of it was just the moment, wasn't it? Right.
Yeah.
So three people missed warts and all. Like, all our mistakes are in there, but you know the heart of it is pretty beautiful. I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and it's completely we tried to create an atmosphere. It's about making something that you would get swept away on rather than not feeling jarring. And like the great thing about working with Joe Philogene, big shout out Joe again, is that that you're in that space making music where you're free to explore. You're not kind of restrained or feeling any pressure to make any sound. You could easily just sit there and not make any sound and it would be fine.
Yeah.
But then it also means that you can see the spaces where your sound you can make will enhance what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like when you're writing music and you're doing that, like that's like the essence of a song is always like music.
Yeah.
Like like songs don't have to have lyrics or singing
Absolutely.
or words at all. They can be mantras. It could be just a single word repeated over and over. I mean, Justin Bieber made a lot of money by just repeating the word baby.
Yeah.
And
He did say that word a lot.
He did.
Whereas, so I don't like that song.
I don't like that song either, but again, it made Justin Bieber a lot of baby money.
Yeah.
But like, again, it doesn't have to be anything particularly complicated. But like within this session, so Rainbow Appearing was a song where like the lyric that we used has definitely dictated the way it was shaped, and we started to like this way you define where a chorus is, and then you go, okay, so let's pull back and you start to shape it. And that's the big difference, I think, between the two versions that you've heard just now, is that you can hear we know when to push it, we know when to build it up more the second time round, because it's
dynamics are very important in songs, right? So we used to do it a very different way, right? Well, a very different way in the editing process. The recording process was essentially the same.
Yeah.
Like we used to do what we called improv-revisation. So we've done the first 2 seasons of our podcast is us doing that, which again was 3 or 4 of us improvising for 2 or 3 hours, 12, 15 tracks, whatever. But and everything was improvised 100%, and then it got taken away and cut.
Yeah, so kind of then doing the sampling thing. So it's like if you were finding, we will play you an example in a minute, but if you're like cutting together a piece of music where you can, if there's a part of it that works really nicely, so that little bass riff was great, like rather than just only having it the once, like get rid of all the rest of the bass that sounds rubbish and just loop that, and suddenly you've got yourself an awesome bass line. That's the basis of how we structured some bits of revisation.
I think revisation was when it depended. Certain songs got played really well and really worked. The edit was quite simple and the mix was not too difficult. Whereas there are songs where you're like, wow, what the hell am I going to do with this 9 minutes piece of nonsense?
Yeah, and the kind of freedom of it from as an alternative way of writing. So if you want to try this at home, like the thing, when you're recording your improvisations and things, just play around and just enjoy what you're doing, and then later on you can easily just find the parts that really work. So one of our very first songs that we ever did in this style, Walking Stereo,
like first song,
it's the very first song on the very first episode of our podcast, and it, a lot of it is built around a bass riff that comes really, really late in the improvisation. And it was just sort of a twiddle almost towards the end, but we cut that part and looped that and built a lot of the chorus sections of the song out of just a little tiny thing that happens at the end.
I think that's it. Like the beauty of it was the possibilities were infinite, right? Yeah. Like you could kind of do what you wanted to it. The rule that we set ourselves, softly was don't record anything.
Yeah.
So like everything that is recorded is what the song is made up of. Sometimes it was 5 seconds of bass and loops. Sometimes it was 3 minutes of let's just top and tail this song and mix it, and it would sound great.
Yeah, so there's definitely several examples throughout revisation where you can hear the exact improvisation just playing out in front of you. Other times there's several things that have either just been muted or looped or turned into something else to create it, but there's not been overdubbing.
No overdubbing at all.
And again, that was a rule we just set ourselves. Rather, it wasn't something that there's no god of music that's telling you have to do it this way. We were like, that it meant that we wouldn't. The reason for doing that and having such a rule in place on ourselves was so that we didn't fall into the trap of constantly overdubbing stuff to try and
perfect it.
And that we would then, because we were trying to do so much of it, which was again probably our fault for being idiots and going, we can make an album in a month.
We did several times.
Yeah, we did several times. But when you're cutting 12 pieces of music and each one of them is coming from a jam which hasn't really been thought out particularly, it's just happened in the moment. And there's some good examples. So throughout revisation, we would work with other people. So one of the best ones we did was we worked with Bob. Big shout out to what's his current artist name?
Rough Citizen.
He's
actually been putting out some new material recently, which is pretty good.
So he did an awesome. I think my favourite of all the revisation episodes is episode 16.
Couldn't tell you the number.
I think it's 16 or 14.
14. Utopia in a Cornucopia.
Yeah, Utopia in a
14.
14. And it's got so many wonderful songs on it.
Yeah.
But the improvisation session was so upbeat and fun and exciting.
It's the most complete album that we've released, I think, on that improvisation style.
And equally, like the creativity that we managed to extract from that record, we put into our videos. So the videos that go along with that record are all animated in some way, or toy videos and things.
A lot of animation.
And
that was like early lockdown stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When we had lockdown times.
Stuck doing animation.
We made loads of stuff still, though. It's great.
So let's play a song from Revisation.
Yeah, I think and obviously if you want to hear more of the Revisation stuff, like the first 2 series are there.
Yeah, they're still available, and so are all of the albums. We did put every single one of them out as an album.
And a podcast.
Yeah.
So, there's loads.
Yeah.
There's loads. We're going to play Hold Me in Slow Motion.
Lovely.
Episode 9.
Episode 9, yep.
And this was called The 6 S's.
Yeah, The 6 S's. We made a video to this song.
We did. Well. Yeah, we went down to the New Forest.
Yeah.
Spent the weekend filming.
And resurrected the Walking Stereo character.
Yeah, me.
Nick played.
All me.
For that. Yeah. Anyway, let's hear it.
Yeah, this song is called Hold Me in Slow Motion.
Lovely.
Yeah, man, I haven't heard that in a while.
It's great. Yeah, I haven't heard it in a while either.
It's a good tune. So I remember that being a very complete recording. So when we recorded that song, it doesn't sound too dissimilar to that. Like, that's got a few layers added on it from other parts of the song.
Muted or something, but nothing too serious. You're right, exactly as it sort of.
So that's a good example of how the song kind of sounded in the room.
And that was with Macy, so we should do a big shout out to Chris Macy.
Chris Macy.
Hold Me in Slow Motion was episode 9 was just the three of us. There's across the first 2 seasons of Revisation, we did at least 4 or 5 episodes, I think, with just the three of us. Is it? I think it's definitely
4. No. The first 3.
Yeah,
the first 2 is I'm not in the episode 3.
You're not in episode 3.
But episode 9, the rest of the 4 to 8 all have. And
episode 10 is just the three of us as well.
Episode 10 is, but that's the first one of the.
And then
episode 10.
You can also probably count episode 11 because although we had beats from.
Does anyone care about this?
Nobody cares about this. Sorry, anyway. Yeah, exactly.
Loads of it. Yeah. So Revisation was it was a lot of work, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So like the reason we went on to improvisation was the band had a shuffle, and then we were like, right, well, we've got to try and do something new. So we went to one microphone in a room, recorded improvisations, and we've developed songs from that. And we kind of write now in a new way, or we make music in a very new way now.
Yeah, so absolutely. The last record we actually put out, so the first kind of proper record we put out this year was called Improv Squared, Petit Champignon de Lumière.
When did it come out?
It came out the 1st of April. It's not an April Fool's though, it is an actual album.
It is.
And it's available on like Bandcamp and the Spotify and all of that if you want to go and listen to it there. And it was 11 tracks, is it?
Yeah, it's 11 songs, I believe,
11 tracks of Improv Squared goodness, where we explored kind of basically crashing our 2 ideas together.
Yeah.
So allowing for overdubbing, basically. So it was kind of like what we decided, Improv Squared, and just to re-explain it, is like doing improv layering. So what we would do now is set ourselves a time limit. So we go, okay, we've got 4 minutes, we put on a loop, or we won't put on a loop, and we'll just play for 4 minutes, and then we'll stop, and then we'll go back over it again with other instruments. And so rather than what we've kind of decided to do is build songs in this way, so it will always sound like a much bigger thing than just 2 or 3 or 4 people. Like,
I think this is not a new idea that we've had. Like, we've had this idea for a long time.
Yeah.
Even back in Revisation days, where it was, we could just overdub ourselves because we all now know exactly what's going on, but we've never done it. So it's so simple and creative, and each time you're overlaying it, you're getting better and better. Yeah. You know, like you know kind of what's going to happen when it's going to happen.
I think the other thing as well is it allows for more freedom, because you can kind of you could easily just sit it and let it loop, and you could just play along forever and keep recording what you're doing and then not use any of it, or easily just drop in bits of it. So for other musicians, if you're a musician out there or you're a singer and you wanted to kind of get involved, like this would be a great way that we can do that. I'm moving a bit too fast ahead there. We'll lose. So another song that we did in the improvisation sessions was Bad Decisions with Joe. It's all built around his Ngoni playing, which is phenomenal. And so it was an obvious tune for us to do the live version. So just like Rainbow Appearing, we had the 2 versions of that.
I think I remember Bad Decisions being a set of lyrics with a thing that we were made up just before we pressed record.
It was called, the original set of lyrics is called in Progress.
Yeah.
It didn't have Bad Decisions written anywhere in it, but it was basically those verses. So it's a set of 4 verses that then we added a chorus, which was just bad decisions. And
but that was a nice moment. So a moment in improv where you're like, that works, amazing, like straight away.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting song. So what we decided to do was basically improv squared it. So like we got Joe to record the Ngoni part to the length of the song, and then it was actually a little while later that we went and recorded synths and other things on it. And
you recorded a demo vocal.
I recorded
which is the vocal.
Yeah, I recorded a demo vocal, and we just chucked it through
filters,
an interesting filter to make it sound a bit tinny and weird.
So this song has been through improvisation live, became a song that we kind of worked on and played live, to now being improv squared. So it's kind of the same song but very different. Right.
So so let's hear it.
Should we hear it? Yeah,
okay. Well, we called it badder decisions rather than bad decisions.
We're very clever.
Yeah, we are.
So this is improv squared. Yeah. Badder decisions.
Yeah.
Seduced by the notes on the screen. Further bad decisions, bad decisions, bad decisions, bad
Well, there you go.
Badder decisions.
That is badder decisions.
So yeah, that's quite a different version of the exact same song.
Yep, and if you want to hear the original, it's on episode improvisation 2, Sunrise Reflections.
Good
In fact,
knowledge.
it's the second song.
Good knowledge.
I remember it really clearly. It was one of the like most awesome, fun improv moments of my whole career.
It's always funny that the second song is always a good song, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's always the way.
First one's like a warm-up where everyone's just kind of checking levels, and then everyone comes out the gates swinging.
Second song is always a banger.
Yeah, Space Babies was the second one on
Summadelica. Yeah,
I can't remember what the second one was on COVID-19 20. Look it up and tell me.
Yeah,
not
but
you.
Not me. I'm not going to. Don't worry.
So that song was from Petit Champignon, which you can go back and hear.
That whole record is made up in that way of us just overdubbing on ourselves and seeing what happens. And it's quite a crazy album.
Yeah, it's got some interesting songs.
Yeah,
and it's one of my favourite things that we've ever put out, actually.
Yeah, nice. I'm quite proud of it.
Yeah, I think also the Ngoni is a big feature of it. The opening track is Champignon Lumiere, which is very mantra-like and built around Joe's playing, which was a piece he just improvised there and then. And
that's it.
Yeah, and it's got obviously some of our danciest things like Sir Francis Cross the CC and
it's crazy.
Astral Underwear.
Yeah, check it out. It came out earlier last month. Yeah,
last month. Big shout out, advertising for ourselves.
Yeah, promotion for ourselves.
Yeah.
So we've kind of continued to do some Improv Squared. In fact, we've been prepping for Improv Squared 2.
Yeah, so later on in this year we will release Improv Squared 2. We want to feature lots more artists.
Yeah.
So, and if you've got this far through the podcast and you're this interested in what we're doing, then I'm assuming you are at least some level of a musician or a singer or something connected, and you're interested in this kind of thing. So you get in contact with us. We're on all of the socials, and we want to work with people. Like we're going to put out some of these things as instrumentals for you to have a go. Like if you want to just sing along, come up with stuff.
With the Improv Squared 2 is going to try and feature other people, right? So
absolutely. We've got several people lined up already that we're going to contact.
If you play guitar, for example, and want to feature on, you're not sure what you're doing or whatever, and you want to feature on a song, we'll give you a song to feature on.
Give us a shout. Hook us up on one of our socials. We're on Twitter.
We're on all of
Instagram
them,
and
all of them.
Facebook and stuff.
All under Cosmic Boss. BOS.
Just the one S.
Just the one S.
Yeah.
So what have we done now then?
So we've got a few songs that we have already done, basically an Improv Squared pass on. We had a session which was just me and you, Andy and Nick, and we got 5 songs out of that, and we had another session very recently with Joe, which we got another 7 songs out of.
Crazy.
Yeah.
8.
So
7.
Was it 8 songs? I can't remember. 7.
I think it was 7. We've got 12.
We've got a few pieces. We're going to actually do something completely different for May, but that's for another podcast. Next month. Absolutely. Yes. And I've forgotten what we're talking about.
Well, we're talking about
sorry, I remember now. It's just come back to me. I wonder I think it's all these Luigi boards that you've got laying around.
You keep bringing them around and leaving them here. So.
Well, I'm trying to help you contact Mario.
It's a Mario.
Oh, it worked. Fantastic.
Always works.
So anyway, one of the songs that we did our Improv Squared Jobby Old on was
Jobby Old.
It was a Jobby Old.
Yeah, so we've got music that we want other people on, but we've taken one and run with it, right?
Yeah.
We picked song 4.
It was the 4th. Yeah,
it was the fourth one. We did. Yeah, 4th song that you and I Improv Squared, and we only Improv Squared the basics, right? We've done one turn. So we laid an improv and then laid over it once. And did we go over this one again?
I think we went over these ones twice, at least.
Yeah. Same as all of them. We've always kind of gone, So
but we've also made sure that there's space on it. It's not like a completely washed song. It's got a very improv-y thing. In fact, throughout this whole podcast, you've been hearing the under the part of it. It's underneath. Yeah. Just hold on. I'll just be quiet for a sec.
Sounds like the song.
That is the song.
That is the song. Yeah. So we've been working on this, and this has kind of all come together pretty fast.
Yep. So we did the music part of it, and then we bounced the demo versions without any vocals or anything. And I then went and sat on the beach and wrote some lyrics. And what I came up with was a little piece called "The More You Learn, the Less You Know."
Yeah.
And so it's really nice if you're a writer to, like, again, from alternative writing text, like working with pieces of music and knowing where its ups and its downs are, and where you can make the vocal do something interesting, which makes it exciting. So
completely
try to do something like that.
It's another way to develop a song, isn't it? Like what do you do first, what do you do last? Like every way you do it is a different way.
Yeah. So if you search out our Bandcamp and go for Cosmic Boss, this song, it will be up there. The more you learn, the less you know, and it will have the instrumental version. So if you wanted to have a go and pop out a vocal, by all means,
sing on it.
Sing it,
play
record
on
yourself.
Change the drums, do whatever you want.
Send it to us.
Get in touch, because we want to make music with people. We want people to get involved with what we're doing. So.
Yeah, and ultimately we're working towards making an album. Like that's what we want to do.
That's it. To round it up, really, like these songs that you've kind of heard, these are how we've done what we've done so far to write. Like we've been, we're two people that have been doing this for a long time, and we found new and interesting ways to try and capture something, right? Like.
Yeah, and hopefully listening to this is not, it's giving you a few ideas, and a lot of our stuff definitely comes down to that improvisation approach and just playing around, as a musician.
Running with it.
Yeah, aiming for perfection is kind of pointless. There's no such thing as perfection. It's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, I agree. I think what's good about this project, though, is like you can push and push, like always push through something, because you can redo it if you want to redo it. It's like it's not final until you say it's final. I guess the way we run is where we push and push, and we never go, no, let's redo that because I can get it a bit better. It's like, no, we run with it, man. It's fine.
Well, you never know what's deeper in the envelope. That's it. It's exciting. That's why you make music. And
it's that now moment, isn't it? That's improv.
Completely. Yeah. And this song that we're going to end this show on, is a good example of something where you can hear the funness in the music that we're making, and then hopefully the vocal is, because it was constructed over the actual piece of music, fits nicely and follows where the music goes, and
so and this all came together in a matter of days.
And this is Improv Squared. This is how we do it. So thank you very much for listening.
Thanks for listening, mate. Thanks for listening to me,
mate. It's been a pleasure listening to you, mate. It's always a pleasure. And check out all of our socials.
Yeah, thanks for listening, audience. We should just thank each other.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Thanks for being here, mate.
That's right, mate.
Thanks, guys. We've got loads
check
of
out our
podcasts.
socials.
Check everything out that we're doing.
Subscribe, comments are really good.
Comments
and shares.
And
share your comments.
Share your comments.
And comment your shares.
And comment on them shares.
Yeah. Keep sharing and commenting until a giant infinite loop of cosmic bossitude is achieved. It's a goal that we're aiming at. Help us out.
Complete cosmic bossitude. Yeah,
100% achieved cosmic bossitude.
Okay. Well, help us get there, please.
Yeah, and so next episodes, quickly, what's coming up within this is that the next episode of Making of an Album is going to be about demoing. So we're going to move to the next stage where we're going to move into recording the songs. We've got a bunch of songs that we've written in the similar ways to we've
we've done everything. A lot in all three ways, like all four ways. Traditional, we've sat with guitars and we've improv squared. Who knows?
That's coming up soon. I mean, we're gonna have a bit of a break for May because we're gonna do something strange and interesting.
Yeah,
it's just not really dropped into our map,
but we're gonna do
into our map. We've got something new's appeared on our map. A new mission, side mission. It's like life is a bit of a game, isn't it? I reckon this is a simulation, mate. The more I've been looking around, it's 2 o'clock mission time.
2 o'clock, it's mission time.
Something's just flashed up on the map, going, do side mission.
And it's like, do you want to continue with the main mission? No, I'm just going to do a little side mission. We're just going to do this a bit stronger.
We're beefing up.
That's what we're doing. We're getting beef. Me and you, we're taking May off to get beef.
Yeah, ready for the main mission.
Yeah. When we say get beef, are you buying beef?
Uncooked beef.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably buying cooked beef.
I might buy some cooked beef from a burger joint or something.
Right, in a burger.
Yeah, it would be in the burger. Yeah. Not on the side. It would be can I have a vegan burger with a side of beef? That would be ridiculous.
So
it might work nicely if you combine them.
Yeah. So you're going to get beef by eating burgers.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Me too.
Excellent.
But thanks again for listening.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens next month.
We love you. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
We really love you, and please, love us back.
But yeah, please.
In a healthy internet relationship way. Obviously, you don't actually know us.
Yeah, but like, if
unless
you want to come,
do actually know us.
Yeah, then you do.
If you actually know us, then say skloobity doobity doo, and only we will understand it. But we'll totally forget that I said skloobity doobity doo, so nobody will ever say that ever again.
It just sounds like it's a Mario.
It's a Mario. Yippee!
Yeah. So yeah, cool. Well, we've totally waffled over this ending.
Yeah. Well,
so
we're just extending the podcast. The longer it is, the more revenue nobody gets out of it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
should we stop?
Thanks.
And
play
this awesome song?
Yeah. What's the song called again?
It's called "The More You Learn, the Less You Know" by Cosmic Boss. Improv Squared.
Bye.
Bye.
Always poised to fall. Dust off, trust costs cuts. Take it all down the drain, round the bend in a fuddle. Bruised and beaten and in need of a cuddle. Spell checking out the witch, stitching time on the line. Serve straight up with a line. Hit the cook's books for a fresher look. Let the knowledge marinate into every nook. Life's that's the test, we have a go. The more you learn, the less you know. Since we exist, let's try to grow. The more you learn, the less you know. It's ups and downs, a wild show. The more you learn, the less you know. The more you learn, the less you know. Nurse the purse string theory, nothing's happening. Waste resources reinforces this recycling. No certainty on survival guaranteed. Malnutrition breeds servants to the corporate greed. Life is a test, let's have a go. The more you learn, the less you know. No one knows best, it's afterglow. The more you learn, the less you know. Through ups and downs, we live the show. The more you learn, the less you know. The more you learn, the less you know. Stacking A grades while the memory fades. Get stats but the facts always misbehave. Plot points got this map in a muddle. So confused now I'm in need of a cuddle. We passed the test, we're good to go. The more you learn, the less you know. Place the bets, go with the flow. The more you learn, the less you know. Get Joel and Mike, go Tom and Crow. The more you riff, the less you grow. Fight or flight, or toe to toe. The more you learn, the less you know.